Kia ora, hello, I'm Philip Duncan and thanks for joining us for our Wednesday weather update for May 24th. And we're focusing on high pressure coming out of Australia. This is it, centred around the eastern side. Colder nights for you at the moment with the big high in charge, and it's pushing further and further across the Tasman. In fact, even starting to push out across the South Island. And so over the next day or so, it crosses central New Zealand and it pushes that low pressure system away. A couple of light showers this morning from Auckland northwards and a couple also out to the east, but generally speaking, drying out for the New Zealand area. And over down here, that's the next cold front coming in for Australia. So lunchtime on Thursday, you can clearly see the classic spring cold front. So Adelaide, Melbourne and Hobart all getting a burst of mild west to northwest winds, a burst of rain or showers, and then you get the windy, cooler southwest change behind it. But for New Zealand, it's what you've been asking for a while, high pressure finally coming in. Maybe a couple of showers around Great Barrier Island and just off the Bay of Islands. That's a southeasterly flow there. And a little bit of rain down around Fiordland and Southwestland. Otherwise dry with slightly colder nights than we've been having, but the days are still fairly pleasant. Now by Friday, that cold front moves up into Sydney. You've got a change there with southerlies behind it. Elsewhere, just a few showers, nothing too much actually, and those windy sou'westers carry on. The high stays settled over the North Island, but that windy northwesterly ahead of the cold front, that is building up here over the South Island on Friday. So windy with rain developing on the west coast, maybe an isolated shower around Taranaki as well. By Saturday, that low starts to form in the Tasman. Now this is not a storm, it's just an area of low pressure, but at the same time, the high to the east is getting bigger. You can actually see 1030 hectopascals and it was 1025 when it was over us. So it's starting to get bigger, and as it gets bigger, we start to get more of these isobars, and that means more wind. So the northeasterly wind is going to start to pick up this weekend in the north. We're very used to this. It's been going on off and on since October last year. A couple of showers, nothing too much in there. Most of the wet weather on the west coast. By Sunday, the low basically no different, but the high further out here is now 1035, so it is growing in size. That means windier northeasterlies carry on. For further down the country, it might be more of a nor'wester. And the rain is mostly on the western side of the South Island, but on the north and eastern sides of the upper North Island. So that's kind of a traditional sort of setup with that low pressure zone in that area. By the start of next week, though, the low drops south, the high to the east, nearly 1040 now, encouraging more of those northerly winds, and they're subtropical. So mild with patchy rain, some heavy falls maybe around Bay of Plenty. And in Australia, the windy westerlies carry on in the bottom corner. Otherwise, high pressure is dominating. And our final map for Tuesday next week, no real change with the westerly winds blowing there. And in New Zealand, the low falls apart. Still got mild winds for the North Island. The South Island, you're getting caught up in that same westerly flow that the southeastern corner of Australia has. So this is looking fairly traditional for this time of the year. As we said yesterday, it's certainly a little bit wetter and warmer. The latest from the Bureau of Meteorology in Australia about the developing El Nino, no change from 2 weeks ago, that it's still being noted, the changes in the Pacific Ocean. It's warming up over towards South America. But in the atmosphere, not much of a response showing up just yet. But I have to say, and I have been saying this for a week or two now, these big highs, sort of a sign of El Nino. The more they stretch out to the Tasman and kind of stop about there, that is a traditional El Nino setup for New Zealand, where we get lots of westerlies and southwesterlies. So you can sort of see it developing maybe in our atmosphere down in the southern ocean, Australia, New Zealand area. But still, it could be months away yet, as the Bureau in Australia have just said, before any El Nino is actually declared. That is all from me, though. Now, we have no video tomorrow, Thursday. I'm sorry. We're actually away out of the studio for business, but we're back again on Friday. So we'll see you then on Friday.